In the previous video, we have discussed motion in a vertical circle and also we discussed the difference between the TL minus TH, difference in the tension in the string at point L and at point H, and TH, this is the tension in the string at the highest point, M by R, U square minus 5GR. Now we talk about minimum velocity of projection at the lowest point. Minimum velocity of projection at the lowest point. For looping the loop. Minimum velocity of the projection. By which minimum velocity the body is projected at the lowest point to complete a loop, for looping the loop, or to complete one loop. What would be the minimum velocity at the lowest point? So to complete the loop, the tension at point H must be positive. TH must be positive. So the body will be able to cross the highest point H. The body will be able to cross the highest point H without any slackening of the string, without any slackening of the string. If TH is positive, if the tension at the highest point is positive, it means body will be able to cross the highest point H without any slackening of the string. And TH is positive means the value of TH should be greater than equals to 0. So put the value of TH greater than equals to 0. So M by R and U square minus 5GR should be greater than equals to 0. M by R, U square minus 5GR should be greater than 0, and this becomes U square minus 5GR greater than equals to 0, and U square is greater than equals to 5GR, and the value of U should be greater than equals to under root of 5GR. So this is the minimum velocity at the lowest point L, because at the lowest point the velocity we have taken is U. So U should be greater than equals to under root of 5GR. So under root 5GR is the minimum velocity which the body must possess at the bottom. Under root 5GR is the minimum velocity which the body must possess at the bottom to complete one loop. Or for looping the loop, the minimum velocity possessed by the body at the bottom should be under root of 5 gr. Now we calculate the minimum velocity at the top. Minimum velocity at the top. What would be the minimum velocity at the top? And for this we use the formula v square equals to u square minus 2gh. So v square equals to u square minus 2g, and the value of h at the highest point, the value of h is written as 2r. So 2g and the value of h is taken as 2r. So u square minus 2g into 2r, and the value of u square is taken 5gr. So v square equals to 5gr minus 4gr, and v square equals to gr, and the value of v is under root of gr. So this is the minimum velocity at the highest point. The minimum velocity at the highest point, vh, and this is the minimum velocity at the lowest point, ul. So we discussed the theory part of this chapter. Now we discuss the numerical questions of NCERT exercise. Questions which is given in the back side of the chapter NCERT. Hello? 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 अच्छा, कौन सा बोल रहे हैं? अच्छा अच्छा, तो आप आ जाओ सर, एक क्रॉस रोड मॉल विद्याधर नगर. नहीं, सरमून पे नहीं है, क्रॉस रोड मॉल विद्याधर नगर. क्रॉस रोड मॉल, मोदी फर्नीचर. हाँ, बेसमेंट में B15 पे. So the first question of exercise. NCERT exercise of this chapter. And the first question is, give the magnitude and direction of the net force acting on. Give the magnitude and direction of the net force acting. Give the magnitude and direction of the net force acting. And the first part is a drop of rain falling down. A drop of rain. A drop of rain falling down with a constant speed. With a constant speed. This is the first part of the question. a drop of rain falling down with a constant speed. Then we have to find the magnitude and direction of the net force acting on it. So as the rain is falling with a constant speed, and if the speed is constant, therefore it means rain is falling with a uniform speed, and in uniform speed there is no any force acting on the body. If a body is moving with a uniform speed, uniform velocity, if the rain is falling with a uniform speed, means constant speed, there it means there is no any force acting on the raindrop. So the answer is, as the rain is falling with a constant speed, as the rain is falling with a constant speed, as the rain is falling with a constant speed, therefore no net force acting on the raindrop. No net force acting on the raindrop. So the magnitude of the force acting on the raindrop is zero. There is no any net force acting on it. And the weight of the drop is balanced by upthrust. The weight of the raindrop, the weight of the raindrop is balanced by upthrust. The weight of the raindrop is balanced by upthrust. Upthrust is a force which acts when a body is immersed in a liquid. When the body is immersed in a liquid, then the force acting opposite to the weight, and that force is called upthrust. So, first part, the magnitude of the force. So the magnitude of the force is zero. That is no net force acting on the raindrop, because the raindrop is falling with a constant speed, and the weight of the raindrop is balanced by upthrust and viscosity of air. And viscosity of air. Viscosity of air. Viscosity is also acts, it is also a force which acts in air. The second part is a cork of mass 10 kg floating on water. A cork of mass 10 gram floating on water. A cork of mass 10 gram floating on water. A cork of mass 10 gram floating on water. In this case, also the net force acting on the cork is zero, because the weight of the cork is balanced. The weight of the cork is balanced by the upthrust exerted by water. So in this case, net force acting on the cork is zero. Net force acting on the cork is zero, because weight of the cork In water, weight of the cork is balanced by upthrust, is balanced by upthrust exerted by water, exerted by water. When a cork floats in water, then the weight of the cork in water is balanced by upthrust. Upthrust is a force which acts when the body is in liquid, when the body is immersed, either partially or fully immersed in water, then the upthrust force acts, and upthrust force exerted by water in the upward direction, and which balances the weight of the cork. Therefore, the net force acting on the cork is zero. Next, a kite is skillfully held stationary in the sky. A kite, a kite is skillfully held stationary. A kite is skillfully held stationary. Held stationary in the sky. So in this case, since the kite is in a stationary position, since the kite is in a stationary position, so in a stationary position, no net force acting on the kite. Since the kite is in a stationary position, so net force acts on it. Since kite is in a stationary position, so no any net force. So no any net force acts on it. No any net force acts on the kite because kite is in a stationary position, and the force acting on the kite is balanced by the force exerted by the air on the kite. The force exerted, the force exerted by the air on the kite, the force exerted by the air on the kite is balanced by tension force, balanced by tension force or force of tension. When the kite is in a stationary position, then since kite is in a stationary position, therefore no any net force acting on it, and due to air, there is a force exerted on the kite, and this force is balanced by the force of tension, by the tension force produced in the string, produced in the string. So the tension force balances the force acting on the kite due to the air.
connection.
Now the next part is a car moving with a constant velocity of 30 kilometers per hour on a rough road. A car moving with a constant velocity. A car moving with a constant velocity. D part. A car moving with a constant velocity. A car moving with a constant velocity of 30 kilometers per hour. Constant velocity of 30 kilometers per hour on a rough road. A car moving with a constant velocity of 30 kilometers per hour on a rough road. So we have to find whether the net force acting on it or not. So since the car is moving with a constant velocity, so no net force acting on it. Since the car is moving with a constant velocity, since the car is moving with a constant velocity, so no net force acting on it, or the net force acting on it is zero. So net force acting on the car is zero. Net force acting on the car is zero because car is moving with a constant velocity and the force exerted by the engine of the car is balanced by force of friction. The force exerted by the engine of the car, force exerted by the engine of the car is balanced by force of friction. The force exerted by the engine of the car is balanced by force of friction. So since the car is moving with a constant velocity, so no net force acting on the car, or the net force acting on the car is zero, and the force exerted by the engine is balanced by the force of friction. The E part is a high electron in a space far from all material objects. A high speed of electron a high speed electron in a space, a high speed electron in a space far from material objects. A high-speed electron in a space far from material objects and free of electric and magnetic fields and free of electric and magnetic fields. So since the electron is free from electric and magnetic fields, so the net force acting on it is zero. Since the electron is free from electric and magnetic fields, so net force acting on it is zero.